Marius Daheim. He's senior fixed income strategist at Bayerische Landesbank in Munich. Good to see you, Marius. Can I just get your take and follow up what Linda was saying there? Just how difficult is it for the ECB right now to get the balance right between Germany in the north and the southern peripheral countries?
Well, as Linda said, it's a two-speed economy. And the ECB is looking at Eurozone averages, and that makes less and less sense the more divergent the economic picture is across the board. But that's the circle they have to square. And there's little to add to what Linda just said about the price stability mandate. There is surely a problem there with energy prices being the strongest driver of inflation recently. So that is something beyond the realms of the ECB. But wage inflation in Germany surely should be a concern. But then maybe one thought that I would add here, what we are talking about is productivity differences within the Eurozone. And if these are to moderate, then that necessarily has to go in hand with higher wage increases in core Europe and lower wage increases or even wage declines in those peripheral countries which are in trouble. So what German unions are demanding here does work in that direction. So if the ECB really is interested in resolving this crisis, then maybe there is a point in tolerating a higher level of or a higher growth of wages in Germany.
Well, you talked about those peripheral countries that are in trouble. Spain goes back to the bond markets again today to raise even more debt as their debt hits a record. Spanish 10-year yields have risen more than 50 basis points since the beginning of the month, last month. Is Spain going to have a bit of a problem with its bond auction today?
Possibly, yes. If you look at issuance since the start of the year, then it turns out that Spain has been a very strong borrower in sovereign debt markets since the start of the year. They have front-loaded this year's issuance. They are already above 40% of their annual target, and that probably has also been one key factor to drive Spanish yield spreads up. But overall, I still would expect this auction to at least find decent demand. Not overwhelming, but at least decent demand here.
Italy's 10-year yield is rising. Portugal's yield is rising. Is the long-term effect, the LTRO, the financing, the cheap money, is that effect starting to wear off?
I would assume so, yes. We already saw it straight after the second LTRO was allocated in the market, that the decline of Italian and Spanish spreads versus bunds was much more subdued than after the start of the year when the first LTRO fed into the market. So I actually ask myself whether the ECB is really wise to pump such amounts of money into a banking system which is supposedly becoming increasingly reluctant to pile into those peripheral bond markets. We have had already single notices from European banks saying that they are prepared to lend more on the basis of the cash they got from the ECB, but to the real economy, and that they are not intending to add to their government portfolio. So there is no automatism there in this place.
Marius Daheim, senior fixed income strategist at Bayerische Landesbank in Munich. We're grateful to you. Thanks for joining us today here on Bloomberg.